second seal is a fiery horseman, not a red horseman. It's fiery, and the type of fire in Greek is it's plural, as in we're dealing with a bunch of fires in little areas. But this is attached to taking peace from the earth. The first horseman is the first seal. So then the second seal is broken, and then in the English translation, it's a red horseman that brings war and has a great sword. But that's not what the Greek says. The Greek says it's a fiery horseman. It's different than red. It's a fiery, and the Greek word is pyros or pyra. I can't really pronounce it, but it describes the color of fire. Then the word great follows, and the connotation is that something is happening over a large area. Small arms warfare, taking peace from the earth, involving a whole bunch of small fires. So that's the second seal. The second seal is broken. This is the imagery that is seen. The second seal, as I have shown, when considering the original Greek and removing the Judeo-Christian filters that are designed to throw you off, this second seal specifically refers to a period when small arms violence and fires erupt everywhere. In the Greek, it's small. It's a small knife, and great means that it's going to go over a wide area, and great, it's going to increase in magnitude. It's going to be small arms, and it's going to be a lot of fires, like riots and stuff in small places, but not all out war. The Judeo-Christian version has you thinking it's the horse of war, and it has a great sword, and it doesn't. I've been looking into it. I'm telling you, man, we have massive Muslim Christian undertakings. I'm just going to say it like that. 2025 looks like it's going down. 2024 was just preparatory to it, because we still haven't seen the true fallout for having all these basically foreigners and migrants forcibly put into all these Western nations. They still haven't served their purpose yet. Hey. I see somebody with a handle I've never seen before. First comment I've ever read from you, and you're talking about my audio sucks. Not going to last here very long, I promise you that. Yeah, I don't deal with the negativity, guys. There's thousands of people blocked from Archaix, and that attitude of mine will continue. I am attacked on a daily basis across multiple platforms, and it's a way of life, so I have zero tolerance. Now, what in the hell is coming into my field? How in the hell? I did one predictions video, did not intend to do a video with waters above. That wasn't even on my radar. That just happened. And now it's soon. I'm talking about within hours of being done with the video for waters above, someone else on the Archaix Twitter community brought to my attention this movie. Oh my God. This led to the discovery on my own of 3 other movies, all of them set in the year 2025. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right, let's see. I've been doing a lot of posting on X lately, guys. You guys, since Facebook kicked me off 2 times, I'm now posting research and some really compelling material on X. It's the only place I'll post except for right here on YouTube. Thank you, Face Diaper. You even said that without sounding gay at all. I feel crisp. Thank you for saying I look rather crisp. Coffee's so real. Man, the movie Lockdown 2025 has missed our radar because the movie is low budget. It's like an urban movie. It's all blacks. Everybody in the movie's, 95% of all the actors in the movie are black. It was really tailored to that market. But damn, does it have some epic drops. This was 2021 when it was released, and yet the things they're saying in this show, I'm going to tell you now. The movie Lockdown 2025, the background is 2025. The setting is Los Angeles. The entire movie, Los Angeles is burning. So I'm just going to start with that. But man, does this go in some crazy. You guys know, especially my Archaix veterans, my veterans are the reason why I showed those clips. Some of those clips are 3 years old when I was talking about 2025 in the year 2022. So, yeah, man. When I watched this movie, I was floored. Processing what I was hearing, like, what the hell? I'm telling you, it's almost as if, now I have shown, for those new to my channel and you don't know, my predictions videos are very specific, but I have a habit. I do not like to tell my community things. I like to show them. I show them the arithmetic. I show them the calendrics. I show my community how I make the deductions I make. And to hear it all in a movie that doesn't reference calendrics at all is astounding. So I'm going to have to show it to you. Now, Amazon Prime has this movie. I subscribe to Amazon Prime, but Amazon Prime has software that you can't screenshot the movie clips. You cannot have Amazon Prime movie playing on your laptop and use the laptop screenshot ability. Luckily, I have a megapixel camera. This is what most YouTubers use for their video stuff. This right here. It's not an iPhone, but the equivalent of an iPhone camera. This is a megapixel camera, one of the most sophisticated in the world. This is a Galaxy S24 S Ultra. So I use this so you can barely even tell. It's just like screenshots. Well, we got over 2,000 people in the chat. It's a really good time. So I'm really hoping that you guys take this in consideration of all the predictions videos I've done in the past. Otherwise, this is just going to be entertainment. It's a very entertaining story and pictures, an entertaining narrative. But concerning the fact that the movie is set in 2025, the location is Los Angeles. Through the entire movie, Los Angeles is burning. That's just the background to what I'm about to show you in this video. Jason, turn off hardware acceleration to take screenshot. Robert Porter, over the years, you have given me some good advice, and I'm unable to follow any of it because I do not know anything about this tech stuff. I learn just by using stuff. I still don't. I really need somebody full-time on tech, on audio, on all these things. I just don't have that. I do have full-time employees now, but I don't have them. I don't have the budget set aside to add another employee who just does all my tech stuff. I don't have that yet. And I don't even understand what you're saying. Turn off hardware acceleration to take screenshots on online media. Listen, I can write predictive analytic systems like you guys have seen my Ophis software, which this video delayed the debut of Ophis. My partner Barry and Doug, they're probably pretty stressed out right now because we were supposed to launch Ophis on Wednesday. The predictions videos got in the way. It's just I got deluged with things I had to do that occupied my time. So we need to get to this video. I appreciate it, Robert, but I don't know. I can't even translate what you're telling me here. I just don't know anything about this stuff. I use the default microphone that's attached to the camera that's facing me right now. I do not use the camera nor the audio from the laptop because they suck. So the 28, now remember, the elite are operating on two ancient calendars, the Pythian Delphic Oracle calendar, which is every 4 years, but it's predicated on another system that was every 8 years. And I've discussed this ad nauseum in prior presentations. It is 2 years offset from the main calendar the elite are operating by, which is the Greek Olympiad calendar. 2020, when the first seal was broken, and then for 4 years, the first seal carried out its work until April 8th on the eclipse, when the corona was passed from Apollo Pharmakia, who poisoned the human race, to Apollo Helios, god of fire. So Apollo Helios, I explained all this last year, and I have videos that talk about ad nauseum. I'm just trying to catch up some of these people, but mainly this video is for my Archaix veterans who are going to understand every drop in this video. So, April 8th, the eclipse signified the change of Olympiads. We entered the second seal, the second horseman. Second horseman's all about, it's not a red horseman of war, as I was explaining in those clips. It is a fiery horseman, and he doesn't carry a long sword, he carries a machaira, which is a Greek short blade for close-in fighting. And it symbolizes close-in fighting, urban warfare. It has nothing to do with all-out war, World War III, anything like that. Also, the word great is talking about the expanse of operations going on everywhere. It has nothing to do with the size of the weapon. The syntax in Greek gives you more meaning than when it's translated into English, which strips it of its original meanings. So further, the fiery pura, the fiery horseman, it's a Greek word signifying, and because it's in tandem with the Greek word great, we're talking about many little fires everywhere. And I said this way before 2025. I said this like 9 months before 2025, that the translation of the second seal, second horseman, is about small arms fighting, knifings and stabbings happening all over the world. We know they have increased by 550%. Anybody can verify that. Some countries, they've increased by 800% since 2010. But they spiked every metric shows the spike in 2020 when the first seal was broken. But the greatest spike is 2024. So these stabbings and these machaira, close-in fighting, all that's been going on in all these Western nations, basically against the indigenous people of those countries, the nationalists of those countries. So this is what we have for the second seal. But even last year, I told you that the main events of the second seal are going to be in 2025. This is a repetitive pattern on the Olympiad system. Same thing happened in 2020. 2020, things ramped up, unleashed. The world realized what was going on, but the massive fallout didn't happen until 2021. So, and then just like I had predicted in 2021 in my predictions videos, I was telling everybody when the whole world was talking about new normal, that this is the new lockdowns, this is how they're going to do the 15-minute cities. It's over. The Democrats, the liberals, they have completely taken, the socialists have taken over. This was their power move. Jason of Archaix was releasing predictions videos telling you guys that's not true. This is going to be short-lived and life is going to return almost to normal, and that travel, they're going to open up the airports, travel restrictions are going to be lifted, visa restrictions are going to be lifted. I told you that people are going to be going back to work. You'll be able to travel state to state, no problem. Go to the grocery stores, no more curfews, no more mask mandates. All that's in my predictions videos. Every bit of that came to pass. Things did return almost to normal. But last year, I said many compelling things about this year, 2025, and to find them in a movie from 2021, shocking to me, because all my own conclusions come from calendrics and from date sequence predictive analytics and from just studying the event trajectories in the field of events that have already been set in motion. So let's look at this. Man, that coffee set. Oh, I should have had my bag of coffee in here. I'm the very first person to ever order from the Archaix coffee. Aaron's Choice Coffee for those who want to wake up. I ordered Phoenix Blend. My dad, I showed a picture on X last night. He ordered Ephesian Night. I think it's like a medium dark roast. Can't remember. I just can't remember. All right, let's get on. I just wanted to draw my intro out a long time so I can fish out some more of these haters that are always talking about it. You don't like anything on my channel, feel free to leave. Feel free to find that exit and get the hell out of here. So let's start sharing the screen. Yeah, this is just so crazy about this movie. Set in 2025. Set in 2025. Location is Los Angeles. And except for the beginning of the movie, the whole movie, the entire movie, even to the end, Los Angeles is on fire. There's a lot of drops in this movie, man. Damn. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Let me get straight into this. Let's get that one. Share. Okay, so that's shared. I need to move this screen. That's my chat screen. So if that's my chat screen, you guys are now seeing my middle screen. I'm still getting used to having 3 screens and getting used to the fact that my StreamYard sees all 3 screens. It just blows my mind. So here is the movie. Lockdown 2025. This is it right here. We lost control. Lockdown 2025. What starts off small just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It's in this movie. Now, this movie was brought to my attention. I didn't find this on my own, but in finding this, I went ahead and did a search and I found this movie. Battlefield 2025, Fighting for Our Survival. I haven't even watched this movie, so I don't know if I'll be doing a video on it. I don't want to get in the habit of doing a video. My videos on Archaix are rather serious. I don't like doing movie decodes, but I have to bring this to your attention because of the predictive programming. I haven't watched this movie, so I don't know anything about it, but it's Battlefield 2025. I haven't watched this movie either. Armageddon 2025. Welcome to the multiverse. How come I've never heard of any of these movies? I haven't seen this one either, so you guys are welcome to try. I did watch this one. 2025, Blood, White, and Blue. This is a spoof Purge movie. It's a Purge movie. It's all about the Purge. It's crazy. We're going to talk about it. I got some steals I want to show you from this one because they've got some drops in here too. Yeah, in this movie, which was made sometime years ago, yeah, they automatically assumed that President Trump was the president in 2025. That's the background to this story here when the Purge takes off across America. I did watch that one. All right, so let's I got that intro out the way. I got my deals here. All that's done. Let's get it aside and let's get into Lockdown. Here it is. Yeah, man, this is perfect. I can zoom in and out. Yeah. Here's our protagonist. Here is the main character. This guy he's got issues. He's got problems. The movie starts off with him shot all up full of bullets. This is how the movie begins. This, for all intents and purposes, is Dad. This is Dad. I'm gonna introduce you to all the characters, but this is Dad. He's shot up, and then that's the intro to the movie. It just shows him all shot up and all gagging on blood. Next thing you know, it shows the title, Lockdown 2025. Man, this is gonna get good. Oh, I've seen somebody talking about Cliff High prediction is spot on so far. Yeah, we have different systems. People have been asking me about Cliff High. I'm going to tell you now. Date sequence predictive analytics, especially my Ophis software that I use, is entirely different than what Cliff is doing. Cliff, from what I understand, he has software developed that pulls words and catchphrases off the internet about what the chatter is. And then according to the chatter, he does a predictive analysis. That's very different than what I do. I have absolutely demonstrated for my community the calendrics and how they work and how we derive these conclusions. Very different system, but it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that Cliff's wrong. I'm just saying they're not at all. They're not at all the same. So, lockdown 2025. So it's like for suspension of disbelief, like any good narrative will do. It's going to show you the world of where everything is normal, so that what follows is totally understood to be abnormal. Los Angeles, beautiful, 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 scenes of all around the Los Angeles area. That's how the movie starts. It just shows you all these things. Try to sucker you in. People out there having fun, doing all kinds of stuff. That's how the movie begins. Really low budget movie. Terrible special effects. The drops are real. This is the house where everything takes on. This is the house. 100% of the rest of this movie is inside this house. Why? Because it's locked down. This is a major takeaway that people need to understand. We've talked about Purim. We've talked about March 14th. We've talked about what these mean in the Purge movies. Talked about all this. People think that you're going to be able, when a scenario unfolds in America and in Western nations, and they instantly do an emergency broadcast, you're stuck wherever you are when that broadcast begins. Because the forces that are going to keep you from going outside and going into the streets will have already been put in position before that emergency broadcast interrupts everything. That's what this movie shows. They are locked down. There's no going to your neighbor's house. Now there are some people too go out, and I'm going to show you what happens to them. So these are things we discussed. Lockdown literally means lockdown. Stay in your homes. It's very interesting. I'm going to tell you now, this isn't a doomsaying video. Many people get upset, man. This predictive analytics is showing all these things that are already in the field. But this movie here has some drops at the end that have a positive spin on all of this. Yeah, we're thinking a lot of people are thinking the elite are going to collapse economy and do all these kind of things. There's more to the story. We'll get to that toward the end of the video because that's where it is in the movie. All right. Yeah, the COVID lockdowns were nothing comparable to the Purge Purim type lockdowns that we've discussed on the second seal. These are like enforced. So let me show you. You'll see it in the deal. So here's the house. Dad walks in the opening scene. Dad walks into this room, and his son, for the rest of the show, is called Junior. That's what he's called in the movie. His son sleeping. He was supposed to build a barbecue pit that his dad had off to the side. Got to put all the screws in the stand together because he's going to barbecue today because this is a special day. Every week for like 25 years, Dad has bought a lottery ticket. That's in this movie. Every week for 25 years, he sits down at the head of the table with the family, watches the screen, and every week listens to the news call off the lotto numbers. In the beginning of this movie, the lottery is bigger than it's ever been before. And he has a lottery ticket. And he's waking his son up mad because his son hasn't made that barbecue pit yet. So when he's kicking on the bed, exactly at this moment where I took this picture, when he's kicking on the bed, the son is listening to some hip hop music. So I turned my volume up, and I was like, "Wow, the song and whoever the hip hop artist is, the opening song of this movie the lyrics are saying, everybody just open your eyes. Everyone just open your eyes. This is the theme throughout the movie. Now, so he wakes his son up, gets him up out of the bed, talks a little shit to him. And this preacher and the preacher's assistant, evangelist, they show up at the door. And Dad, he's not trying to hear it. But this is what the preacher says. The preacher shows up at the door and says, he says it's serious, but he's very calm. Babylon the Great has fallen. He said, on this date, when the moon has darkened, a great panic from the Lord shall come upon them, so that each will lay hold of his fellow, and every sword shall be against his brother. So the beginning of the movie sets the tone. What's crazy is that this old black man, maybe quoting a Bible verse, I'm not sure, or combining it with something, tells him that all of this is going down when the moon darkens. He didn't say that when the sun darkens. This isn't a Phoenix phenomenon. This isn't an eclipse, a solar eclipse. When the moon darkens, all this is going down. That's the first drop of the movie. What were my last two predictions videos about? Lunar eclipse, March 14th, which happens to be Purim. So, very interesting that this guy shows up and says this in the only time in the beginning of the year, or in the first half of the year, that the moon darkens is on Purim. So, and remember, this movie is set in the year 2025. The scene here is in Los Angeles. So, yeah, I like that scene right there. We'll return to it later because the movie goes back to this scene. So, all of a sudden, we switch over from that scene to the youngest in the whole household by a long shot, because everybody else is 16, 17, 18 years old, and then there's mom and dad. This is the only child. And at the exact same time that they're having technical difficulties, the television, the cable's not working, it's all staticky. At the exact same time that they're having all these problems with electronics, the child is the only one that gets sick in the house. Everybody else is fine. All the adults are fine. So, outside, Dad and the little kid here, they go outside and play basketball. He's teaching a little kid how to shoot basketball. This guy is parked outside on the side of a building just watching, and you can hear the radio. Nobody calls him or anything, but he pulls out of park and drives away because the radio specifically goes off and says, you can tell he's law enforcement, but it says, code 3, all units return to station, code 3. So he pulls out of park, he just drives off. That's the whole scene. This whole scene, it's gone. So after he talks to the old black man at the door who gave him the little prophecy, is like a Jehovah's Witness or something, he goes to an exercise machine where he hangs upside down. When he comes back up, you can hear this tone. In the movie, there's this new sound. It's not music, but there's this sound, and you can hear his heartbeat. Doom, 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 doom. And it's like some of the sound is trying to mimic a chaotic mind, and there's something happening to him. Now, I think this is the Well, I want to go back to that real quick before we go to this. This is the second link in a movie. Pay attention. This is the second time in the movie that there is a direct correlate between technology and a physical anatomical issue. The kid was getting sick as the TV was getting staticky. Now he's on like a device, an engineering device, an exercise machine, and now this sound appears and he's going through something. So we have two inferences here of technology having something to do with hurting the human body or harming it in some way. So this guy here, he gets better after a few minutes, and he's watching the lottery with his family. Everybody's at the table, they're watching the lottery. And he has a lottery ticket, he tunes into the drawing, and it's the largest pot in history. It's $1 billion payout. Now, the TV shows this as well. I found it really interesting on the bottom of the screen. It says Vard fights to rebuild. It says journalists are threatened. You remember my other predictions video where we did a movie decode? And the whole movie was really about journalists and bitching about how the military treated them, and the focus was on journalists. Civil War. The movie was Civil War. Came out last year on March 14th. Well, that was pretty interesting. So she's talking about different stuff, about some unusual lights in the sky, a supercharged rainbow storm. Never heard of anything like that. That's what she called it. There's a couple pictures there. Top story, all kinds of riots are breaking out in different areas. She doesn't specify where it's at, but this is a Los Angeles news broadcast, and you can hear her say a city under attack. There's several stills after he watches the news broadcast. The cameraman here, they're having dinner. Hold on, they're sitting at the table having dinner. The family's together. Okay, while they're having dinner, the director thought it fit to go away from the scene, out of the house, and show outside. Here's the first picture of outside. It's providing you more details for the setting of what follows. The sun is going down, meaning our story really doesn't begin until nighttime. Those of you who watch my last two predictions videos understand the significance of that. This is happening in the evening, and it's going to go on all night. The end of the day, everything's normal. Look at that. It's all normal. It's all normal. Different areas of Los Angeles. It's all normal. Sky getting darker. It's still very peaceful, and it's all normal. And they're back in the living room, and the jackpot Sunday, $1 billion, 25 years sitting at this table as his family grew up. This is their tradition. This is when they all come together, and he always holds that lottery ticket, and he watches that screen through this whole thing. This is what he does. Oh, one other thing. While they're waiting on the lottery news and the female anchors talking, you can hear in the background a male voice. It's like she has another news feed going. It's very unusual. There's a male voice, another news anchor you can't see on the screen, but the other news anchor says that there's a 20% gain in NASDAQ. What? Prior predictions videos, anybody? Wasn't one of my Ophis predictions specifically about a massive increase in the markets? It's a spike. It's huge. And it's just very temporal, and it's very sudden. So this is just thrown out there in this movie. So they're watching the lotto drawing. The whole family's eating, and they're waiting. And he's got his lotto ticket ready, and all of a sudden the program is interrupted with an emergency broadcast while they're eating, while they're waiting. He's got his lottery ticket right there in his pocket. No, it's in his hand. You can see it right there. He's got that lotto ticket right there in his hand. And then he looks up and he sees an emergency broadcast takes over the lotto. He's all messed up about it. This is what they see. A map of the United States, emergency alert system. Please stand by. This is what they see. This movie is so crazy. So while they're watching this, and while they see this on the television screen above the kitchen table, they all start looking at their cell phones, and one of them has a tablet. Junior has a tablet at the table. All their devices get taken over with the emergency broadcast, not just the television. They all hear the same voice, and it says that martial law has been declared. It is a lockdown. Stay in your homes. Executive order is declared. They even named the executive order. Habeas corpus is suspended. This means you can be executed without a trial, without a judge, a jury, any of that. Habeas corpus is suspended. It means you have no constitutional rights. So, mandatory 24-hour curfew. Looters will be shot. All this is said. It's repeated multiple times. Then there's a blackout. While all this is going on, they're all looking at their devices, basically tripping. The TV keeps saying, this is not a test. This is not a test. This is not a test. They're all kind of panicking. These are just stills from the movie of them panicking. Remember, guys, this movie was filmed in 2021. It's never been popular. Its ratings were very low. And here's where things get super interesting. When the emergency broadcast is over, a countdown begins on the screen. The martial law has been effected, and the lockdown is 24 hours, but that's not what's on the screen here. The screen starts a countdown of 90 minutes. So interesting. So it's almost like the movie Lost. Remember that 108 count ticker? So they learn real fast. The power blacks out. There's a blackout, but it's temporary. Within 5 seconds, the power comes back on. But when it comes back on, nobody's cell phones work. They can turn them on and they can use the apps, but there's no cell phone service. There's no communicating with anybody. It's done. Yeah, the landline, all that stuff is over with. Television will only show the news broadcast, and it's only in pieces. Most of the time, it only shows this countdown. So Junior here stands up. First one to get up from the table. That's his mama right there. Junior stands up and says, it's the Illuminati. I'm telling you, it's population control, FEMA coffins. It's the beginning of world genocide. This is a false flag operation, Black Ops all the way. Out of chaos comes New World Order. I'm telling you, it's the Fourth Reich. As soon as he said that, his dad gets up, mad as hell, and tells him to sit his ass down. He's going off. He's on his pulpit. He's going off. 2021, he said all that. Going off. His dad's telling him, Junior, sit your ass down. You're full of shit. His dad's mad as hell and basically tells him, you got all that from the YouTube conspiracy theories, and I'm not trying to hear it. So Junior sits down, and in the background, in the background while they're talking, they keep flashing at that countdown while they're having this conversation. And Junior calms down, but he's not buying it. His dad's pretty upset about the YouTube conspiracy stuff. So the mood kind of changes. It's now in this conversation that everything turns toward the windows. Things in the windows. So there's something going on outside. It's wind. It's weird colors in the sky, and it's a wind that suddenly arrives. It's unusual, and then it's followed by activity outside, like crowds or chaos. People going outside trying to figure out what's going on and talk to each other and all that. This is what's happening, and the sky seems to pulse. I'm going to show you pictures with an energy. It literally shows energy going out all over Los Angeles. So this energy is represented by the director as a continuous sound that is heard throughout the whole movie. It's just barely there. But when people start really acting weird, the sound is higher. Some of you are having some aha moments. So this guy arrives, they hear gunfire and all that, and he's ducking because he hears gunfire right out the door. And they go outside and they see all this weird stuff. Sky looks weird. They got a second story balcony on this house. Here's the bridge. All this. Just I took a bunch of pictures of the movie. All right, we'll get to here in a minute. I need to see. They still on the balcony. Okay. Let me go back. During this whole thing, now the young kid throughout this from now here on out, the kid stays sick. So keep this in mind. The kid is down. More scenes about what's going on outside. They're talking on the balcony. They don't really know what's going on. The guy in the middle is Hispanic. He comes from a Hispanic neighborhood in inner city Los Angeles, and dad don't like him. But he's invited. He was invited to dinner because that's his daughter's boyfriend. Junior does like him. They get along. They talk about the same things, conspiracy and all that. All right, so we're almost out of this area. All right, now a guy arrives on their doorstep. He's foaming at the mouth, delusional. He's been shot. He's bleeding bad, but he ignores the pain, and he's blabbing off about stuff. And Dad's just looking at him like, "Who is this dude?" He knows who he is from the neighborhood, but he's like, really like, "What's up with this quack?" So here's the guy right here. He arrives in a state of delusion. He's been shot. He says, you can hear him say, "Must stay inside." But he's crying, and then as he's talking to people, he switches it over and starts laughing hysterically. It's creepy. During the sounds, he's doing this as the sound from the sky is at its highest pitch since the movie began. So he goes on this religious tirade, focusing on Dad. He's just going off, focusing on Dad. Looking up at Dad because Dad went and hid behind that gate. He thinks this dude's lost his nuts. He's out of there. So he starts reaching through the gate and he's telling Dad, "You're a demon. You're a sinner." He starts mumbling stuff about a serpent, 40 days and 40 nights, and he that is evil is going to get what he's got coming to him. And man, he's just going on. And the whole time I'm watching this scene, I'm like, wow, man, this is everything I'm telling people about the Christian Reich. Yeah, man. I'm not talking about good old hearted Christians, man. I was one of them for many, many, many years. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the Christian right, the same type of mindset of people who think they are allied to God, who can stand there with their own sons and daughters and listen to somebody screaming high pitch as they burn alive at a stake at a Catholic mass. Yeah, that's Christian Reich. The same people that were doing that during the burning times are existing right now in these mega churches. I talk about it all the time. So this guy here, he's going straight Christian Reich on this guy, telling him what he's going to have. He's going to burn all this stuff. So jets cross the sky over Los Angeles, but you never see them. You just hear them, and then Los Angeles blows up. Well, a part of Los Angeles blows up, and the weirdo's response to this obvious technological situation, his response to this is, you must pray because this is God who's brought this judgment. But it's a military jet. So anyway, yeah, despite the technological aspect of the situation, he still leans on everything being related to God. It's God's punishment of evil. So Dad, after the explosion, you got this light over Los Angeles. The light is in the sky. It stays there until the whole episode is over. Here's Mom. She's freaking out because she knows this dude. Dad, he freaked out in a different way. You see Dad here? He freaked out the way most men are going to freak out. Yeah, he went straight to the stash spot. He went straight to the shotgun shells, the pistol. He was not playing. Dad went straight for everything he needed to do. So while Dad's doing that, you can hear in the movie all the gunshots, the sirens, people screaming, explosions of like armament, military armament stuff. You can hear bombs detonating. All this is going on outside while he's fishing for that shotgun. So he grabs the shells, the shotgun, and the pistol, and he's under the bed now getting some other stuff. Right here under the bed. Here's he got the shotgun shells. So the sound returns deafeningly to him. This, whatever the sound is, it returns, and he has to stop. It stops him from loading the shotgun. He has to catch a knee. He has to slide against the wall and sit down. Before Junior showed up to come over and talk to him, he was by himself, and he was going through it by himself. But it's direct. His condition is directly correlating with this sound that he hears, and it's affecting him. And he just drops the shells. There's a scene in it. I don't think I took a picture of it, but he dropped the shells all over the stairs. Junior came and helped him pick him up. And in the scene right here, the sound goes away, and he's able, sitting there with Junior, to get a hold of himself, load the shotgun. And on the staircase, he looks at Junior, and all the focus is on the words, because all the sound dies. He said, Junior, this is what his dad tells Junior. He says, I need you not to be Junior tonight. So Junior's like, oh, he gets it. They talk. It's like, oh, okay. It's some serious stuff about to go down. So they look outside and they see cop cars, and this is a couple times throughout the movie. These cop cars drive through the streets, and they've got this recording. It's not them really speaking. You can tell it's a recording because every one of them sound the same when they come through the movie. Martial law has been declared. Stay in your homes. Mandatory 24-hour in effect. It's on repeat. And there's another picture. There's another cop car coming through. All right, so I did find it very interesting. Dad's philosophy. He gets a shotgun and a pistol, tells his son, hey, man, get ready. But when he returns with the group and the family, I thought it was really interesting because of what follows later, what other things that are said. I found it very interesting that Dad says, all we got to do is sit tight till this is over. That's what he says. So his deal is whatever the world's going through out there, it's not going to affect us. We're going to stay right here. We're not going to participate. So he's not going to go out there and try and save the world. Basically, that's his philosophy. Now, right after he tells the family that, though, you can still hear outside, martial law has been declared. Stay in your homes. Mandatory 24 hours. You can still hear the recording on repeat. Now, the daughter right here, in this exact scene right here, the daughter turns to her mother and says, is it really? Because they remember what that dude said, who was delusional. Says, is it really God punishing us, Mom? And mom says, I think that as long as we stay inside and together, we'll be safe. This is twice now in the movie that this is said. Now, I'm going to tell you why these drops are important. For those who are not familiar with my predictions videos, I'm not predicting an event that's going to be actual. I am predicting an event that's going to be a psyop, a massive psyop of epic proportions. And those who choose to participate will later be found guilty for that participation. Yeah, they're going to think everything's cool and it's all good, and yeah, they're going to be baited into a trap. So mom looks after the child. Oh, here's a scene. They look out the window. This is what Los Angeles looks like now, outside the window. A lot of places are burning. Like, and through the whole, you can hear all kinds of violence and all kinds of stuff outside. Now, I'm going to tell you now, throughout the movie, they have this light in the clouds. They have a light in the clouds. Never is it ever explained what that light in the clouds is. However, when they show visual evidence of that sound, that energy that's emanating out over Los Angeles, they always show it coming from that light. But I'm telling you now, that's misdirection. It's just a clever way to conceal something that we already know has been put in our communities. Here's scenes right here. Here are scenes right here of the shock troops and vehicles going through the streets. They've got automatic weapons, and you can hear the recording. Stay in your homes. Mandatory 24-hour lockdown. They're not invading anybody's homes. They're not going in anybody's houses in this movie. It doesn't happen. So we have mom looking after the child. In the height of the activity throughout this night, the child is still sick. Since she's been, that little boy's been sick the whole duration since the emergency began. So let's see, they're kicking it at the table. You can see the counter up there at the top on the screen. They're kicking it at the table. When all of a sudden gunshots, they hit the floor when they hear gunshots real close. Then they all get down because Junior explains when he runs to the window that their friend, Mr. Martinez, and his family across the street have loaded baggage and personal belongings into their car and were getting in, and all of them got in the car, and only Mr. Martinez was still standing outside of the car when somebody from the street walked up and shot him. And then shot him in the head because he said, oh my God, Mr. Martinez, he shot Mr. Martinez in the head now. That was the second shot. Then when a bunch of other shots took off, it was a pistol. It wasn't like an automatic weapon. When it was a bunch of other shots that took off, now Junior was screaming for everybody to get out of the car. And they showed a woman's hand covered in blood inside the car, but they didn't show any details. But later you find out from Junior that the person that walked up on the street just shot everybody sitting in the car. After this incident, everything goes quiet. They show scenes of Los Angeles burning after this incident. He's trying to hold Junior down because Junior tried to jump out the front door to go rescue that. But after this scene of the Martinez family being gunned down, Los Angeles shows scenes of Los Angeles is burning. There's no more sounds. During the quiet part of this movie, The Night Right Now, it shows massive burning of Los Angeles. Here it is right here. While this is happening, forgot what he's looking at. They're all discussing. So I'm looking for an eclipse. Somehow, it must have been my blurry picture. There must have been I'm missing a photo, guys. But there was pictures I deleted that were all blurry. One of them I deleted was blurry. But in the movie, if you go watch the movie, you will see right here, after this scene right here, it focuses on a lunar eclipse. It shows that the light of the moon just starts disappearing because the shadow of the earth. That's technically what a lunar eclipse is supposed to be, but that's what it shows in the movie. The moon starts vanishing. It's the lunar eclipse. So you guys know from the predictions videos what the lunar eclipse signifies. Yeah, I wish I had that picture. That's one of the blurry ones I deleted. So the two younger males are discussing the possibility that the televised countdown is to mark some type of event, but they never say what that event is or postulate what it could be. So in this scene here, the daughter's boyfriend, who Dad don't like, Dad's about to eat some chicken right there in that moment, and the young kid knocks it out of his hand. The daughter's boyfriend slaps that food out of his hand, then says, when they're all looking at him like, what in the hell just happened? Are you out of your mind? They're all looking at him like, you've lost your mind. Dad don't know what to do because Dad's already wanting to beat him up earlier in the movie. So says he raises some good points. He says, hey, the food and water might be poisoned because Evan, he's the kid, Evan was the only one to eat a little something, and he's been sick all night. So says he's basically explaining he tried to save Dad. So then he goes on and says the only way to carry out a mass attack is through food and water. And JR, the son, agrees. And then says this. Very unusual. But JR right here responds by, yeah, man, yeah. He says, you know what? You could potentially kill millions with the right toxins. So this is the conversation these two young men are having. And in the middle of the conversation, well, we ain't got that far yet. Because Dad, I need to show that part, because Dad got up and pulled that shotgun out when his son said that about the toxins. Dad got up and pointed a shotgun at the kid and told him, I'm a liar, and I recognize a liar, and you lying. That's what the dad said. He said, I'm a liar, and I recognize a liar, and you lying. You know what's going on out in Los Angeles. You need to come up. The whole family's freaking out because he pulled the shotgun on this kid. So they calm Dad down to lower the shotgun, but Dad's on to him. Dad gets him to talk a little bit, like, yeah, man, I knew you knew something, and he tells him a story about this like a group of patriots that are fed up with the establishment. And they all got together and they're gonna do. And it sounds like a cover story, but yeah, that's what happened. So he turns around, starts looking at the same minute that all these glasses right here on the table start shaking. Everything's shaking on the table. They quit fighting and arguing, and everybody's looking at the table like everything's just vibrating. All looking at the vibrating glasses. So they go outside and look, and helicopters fill the sky, but they're leaving Los Angeles. They're just leaving. They're just leaving. They're going on. And then they disappear and it gets all quiet. Now I didn't take the pictures, they all came out blurry, but it also showed police cars leaving. And then everything gets quiet. The whole house is quiet, LA is quiet. And they go back to their meal. So after the helicopters are gone and after the law enforcement's gone, it doesn't take a long period of time before the gunfire starts. But it's different now. Law enforcement and military have left. Now there's sporadic rifle fire, pistol, gunfire. There's all kinds of noise in the streets. It's a different activities going on now outside. And it continues on through the night. And the boyfriend over dinner, there's the cop cars that were leaving. And the boyfriend tells dad about an American group of resistance fighters from all walks of life that were planning a huge event that would wake up the world. Hackers, revolutionaries, judges, and lawyers were in on it. Some doctors, people from all walks of life. He names Crips and Bloods, Vatos. He just goes off and talks about everybody who's involved in this. And they had a certain name. I can't remember what it was, but they're just the revolutionaries and hackers and resistance fighters in America. And the whole thing was really painted like he was describing a Q operation, the Q psyop or something. Instead, yeah, it's just, you guys know I'm real big on exposing the Patriot pacification program, guys. They're all over YouTube. Let's see. Anyway, he explains all this, and they look out the windows, and LA's just burning. Told you, LA's burning throughout the whole movie. 2025, lunar eclipse. LA is burning. All this is in the setting of the movie. They're looking out different windows and stuff in the house. All right, so the kid takes off. He wants to go find out what's going on with his family, the boyfriend. The whole time he's on the streets, he's being shot at. Machine gun fire, there's explosions, there's people being killed in the streets. That's him running right there. Here he is right here with a helicopter on him. The helicopter comes out of nowhere and just starts machine gunning the whole street. And while it's all going down, they're taking care of the kid. The kid is still sick through the whole night. So he's messing with a ham radio, and you can see that the news is now showing different stuff that's going on. They didn't show anything. The news didn't show anything when law enforcement and the military were in the streets. But now that the law enforcement and military had vacated, now the news is showing what's going on around different areas, different stores and stuff. Again, the TV goes out. He's messing with the ham raider. When the TV comes back in, it still has the countdown. 24 minutes left right here. Then here's where the movie get another little twist that links us to March 14th. Look at that. He's wearing. They're hiding in the basement. You saw that mask he was wearing. Yeah, the mask. They never get a good shot of the mask. I tried so many times to get good shots of the mask. He whips around too much. But it's a Purge mask or a Purim mask. There, as I showed you in the last video, there's no difference. So he finds them in the basement, but Dad came up right behind him and took him out. So he's laying here. There he's still wearing the mask. Okay, so those were other blurry pictures I removed, but they killed him. But before he died, the guy shot in the basement. As he's dying, this is what he says: Babylon the Great has fallen. On this date, when the moon has darkened, a great panic from the Lord shall come upon them, so that each will lay hold of his fellow, and every man's sword shall be against his brother. He chokes a few times, and then he says, I am free, and he dies right there. So that kind of freaks out the whole family. The dude remembers the old man said that in the very beginning of the movie. The old black man, that was the old preacher, showed up. Those are the exact words the preacher said when he told the preacher to get his ass off my property before I call the police. And the old black man and that female, they left. But those were the words that were spoken at the beginning of the movie. Let's see here. So they talked. I don't know what happened to the truck driver scene. Okay, Dad right here has another one of those weird spells, and the listener on the movie can hear that sound again. You can hear that sound that's been going over LA, and Dad's having another one of these spells. Dad freaks out. He pulled that gun on that kid. He freaked out earlier. He gets a hold of himself. He gets better. They show pictures outside at night. And Junior gets the ham radio working, and she starts playing with it. And they were playing with it earlier at dinner, and then they put it away. And then all of a sudden, a call, somebody come through, and they talk to a truck driver. The truck driver says he's trapped on the bridge. They can see the bridge out of one of the windows in the house. So they're talking back and forth with the truck driver, and Junior says, man, what do you know, man? He said, because they find out the truck driver's hurt. His legs hurt. He's stuck in the cab. His 18-wheeler is on his side, and he's just laying there, and he doesn't have any help, and he's exhausted. And Junior says, okay, man, well, can you tell us anything? Can you tell us anything that's going on? We got no news, no cell phones working. News didn't telling us anything. So the truck driver responds. He says, I haven't slept or ate in 2 days trying to stay in front of it. It says, 2 days I drove like the wind. The fever, people caught up, swept up into a frenzy of kill or be killed. And then he goes off and kind of pontificates. He says, God used it many times in the past to destroy his enemies, afflicting them till they killed themselves. Somewhere out there, a spark was lit, and it started a fire in the hearts of men. A fever, not in the body, but a fever of the mind. He never said any more because they sit there and listened on the ham radio as he was explaining that men were getting closer and closer to him. They heard gunshots, and that conversation was over. So the movie's action packed, guys. It was entertaining. I was more amazed by all the drops. So here they look out the window again. That's what they see. I didn't know them. Oh, Empress Ka says the movie is on YouTube. I didn't even know that. I just looked it up on Amazon Prime. So as the ticker is almost done, they're almost at the final minutes of the ticker. The kid just gets up. No problem. Gets up like he's never been sick. Goes downstairs and sees the whole family looking at the bridge where the truck driver died. They're all looking out there. The young son just looks out the little window on the front door instead of one of the windows of the house. He looks out the window on the front door and sees this dude walk up. And then they all see the kid. They all see the young boy, and mama grabs the young boy like, "Oh wow, you feel better now, awesome." Well, this guy shows up, and there's more to the story, but it doesn't have anything to do with the drops. So there's more to the story. I don't want to give it all away of who this guy is, what's really going on. But I'm just going to let you know he introduces himself as a detective. He shows his badge, and so they're asking him, "Hey man, what the hell happened?" This is the guy you saw in a car at the beginning of the movie. I showed him when he got that code 3, all units return to the station. He's the guy. So I'm not going to give all these things away. You need to go watch the movie. So he tells them all he knows for sure is that 15 cities were all poisoned. But no one knows what the poisoning was. No one can pinpoint what exactly was hurting people. 15 cities weren't able to contain it. Los Angeles was one of the 15, and the chaos then spread everywhere, and it was uncontainable. Not the poison, not the malady, but the chaos was not contained. So it's interesting that daughter's talking to dad right now because dad's having a meltdown because he found out who this dude really is. Dad's having a meltdown, like emotional meltdown, like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I ain't gonna give it away. But the guy is integral to what happens next. And there's the countdown in the back. Dad's sitting down. He's all effed up in the mind. And it's really interesting that dad says something, and it's been said 3 times in this movie. Lies turn into the truth. Lies turn into truth. It's funny how lies turn into the truth. Okay. This is what is said 3 times in this movie. Now, 3 separate times said in this movie as well is, this is just how I dreamed it. Dad said it, mom said it, and this other dude I just showed you earlier says, they all said it's 3 times in the movie. This is just how I dreamed it. I just want to bring those to your attention. So we have the sound throughout this movie. When people start freaking out, it's the sound in the sky. Dad is listening to that sound. That sound, it's in his head. It's in his mind. It's in his head. And dad is going through a change. That sound is pulsing from the sky. These pictures don't give it justice. If you watch the movie, you can see the pulse going out, going all over Los Angeles. Camera wasn't able to pick it up because I'm literally taking a picture of my device taking a picture of a screen. It just doesn't work that way. Dad freaks out and pulls his shotgun out. All hell breaks loose. This is the end of the movie, guys. All hell breaks loose. They all stayed in the house. They obeyed the rules. They obeyed martial law. Dad freaks out. Second time he pulled the shotgun out in the night. And it becomes a bloodbath. This guy, the detective, gets shot. The detective shoots back. The daughter gets hit. All happens fast. Dad gets hit. Daughter gets taken down to the floor. Super fast, rapid scenes. The detective gets perforated. Detective gets down. Mama's down. Outside, LA is burning. And things are falling from the sky. But they're falling from odd, weird angles. These are not astronomical angles. Again, like cluster bombing. This is not astronomy being showed here. Astronomical. Things don't behave like that if they enter the atmosphere. Yeah, nothing coming from one source will ever enter at different angles. That's just it's crazy. But anyway, this is what's going on. It gets apocalyptic. Again, the pulse increases. It's in the sky. It's just pulsing all over LA. And then it's over. It's just totally over. The pulsing stops, the noise stops, the gunshots stop, all the chaos outside stops. Everybody in the house is dead. Dad is now looking at the sun, telling the son, so weird too. So weird. I don't know who wrote this movie, but he's telling the son the most important. He understand. He knows he's going to die. The dad knows he's dead. He's got gunshot wounds. He's bleeding out, and he tells the son, if there's anything you do in life, remember, family is everything. And he just killed his whole family. So this is the talk he's having. He's got his pistol in his hand while he's talking to his boy. The boy's looking at the TV countdown. Let's see what's going on here. Who's that? Oh yeah. So the TV countdown goes off. It goes to zero. It gets to zero while they're there. And all of a sudden, ordinary, normal programming returns as if nothing happened. Ordinary programming returns. They continue with the lottery, with the whole lottery deal going on, and he's losing his mind because his ticket matches the winning numbers of the $1 billion jackpot. Here's the guy in the here's the dude for the lottery dancing. It's like the commercial never stopped. It's like the whole broadcast never happened. The emergency broadcast, none of that happened. But he's full of holes and his whole family's dead. So he's right here. After he pulls himself together, he gives his son the lottery ticket. Tells his son, you know what to do. You know what to do with this. And while he's wandering around the house, the girl's boyfriend comes back. He made it home and made it back. The end of the movie, the girl's boyfriend comes back and sees, before he sees all the bodies, the boyfriend walks in the door and he's about to get shot, but dad doesn't shoot him when he hears what he says. He says, there's no poison attack. It's all been a big lie. There's no attack. It's all been a big lie. So dad, family dead, won the lottery. He's dying, full of holes. He walks outside. And when he walks outside, he hears them say, He hears them say, the martial law was for 24 hours. Stay inside your homes. This whole incident only lasted an hour and a half, 90 minutes. 90 minutes of all this massive chaos. But the actual lockdown is for 24 hours. And even though everything looks like everything's back to normal and it's all good and he still went outside and got machine gunned. That's Dad. Dad's having a real bad day. Martial law has been declared. Stay in your homes. Mandatory 24 hours in effect. So Dad goes back. He goes back and gets machine gunned, and Dad wakes up on that same device where he was. That sound was driving him nuts earlier in the movie and affecting his health. He wakes up here. The old preacher shows up at the door. Dad wakes up and realizes, damn, all that was a dream? The old preacher shows up at the door and says the exact same thing he said when he come back, the deal about the Babylon the Great has fallen on this date when the moon has darkened. A great panic from the Lord shall come upon them, so that each will lay hold of his fellow, and every man's sword shall be against each other. So he hears that. In one of the last scenes of the movie is him turning around and looking in toward his wife and saying something, and then looking at the old black man and say, come on in. Come on in. He didn't threaten him to get him off his property this time. He said, come on in. So you guys know most of my videos are 2.5, 3 hours. Sometimes I'll go 4 hours long. But I covered that in the most abbreviated way because we have a standalone movie from 2021 that it checks all the boxes. This is epic predictive programming for the year 2025. LA burning for the year 2025. Some real chaos being planned, executed, or begun on the lunar eclipse day, which we've already ascertained by many other species of analysis, March 14th, which happens to be a holiday that is dedicated to that activity called Purim, which is connected in the calendrics, as I've shown multiple times, to all the movies of the Purge franchise, which describes exactly that, which leads us to another very weird, unusual movie. A total coincidence. Or is it? Or is it? Who would have thought that this weird movie here, have any of you ever seen such a movie? 2025. Blood, White, and Blue. Red, White, and Blue. Blood, White, and Blue. It's a Purge movie, but it's not a part of the Purge franchise. It is, according to the movie, President Trump is the president. This movie was made back then. But according to this movie, President Trump is the president. And in 2025, there's a purge. And they plan for that purge. It's creepy. It is creepy. This let me see right here. I got some stills on it. In the very beginning of the movie, these two guys are having a racist conversation. Right here. They're watching Mexican guys having to work outside, and they're sitting there talking about them and how Trump built the wall, but it really didn't work. And the shorter one's talking about, well, you know what? Trump just needs to build a second wall. And this is the conversation they have. The tall one wants to kill the short one. The tall one keeps saying, what are you going to do for Purge night? Oh, I'm just going to kick back with some friends and family. Oh, yeah, you must have your place really outfitted, bars on the windows and all. And he says, nah, I just trust the people around me. I really don't have it. So the tall one looks at him, that's good to know. So he keeps, it's a spoof. He keeps dropping hints that I'm going to be there tonight to kill you. But these are federal agents, but they're the purge is a suspension of all rules. So I found it very interesting that they pegged Trump as being president for 2025 in this movie, and it's a purge scenario, and even the pictures are really weird. Let me show you the pictures. Here's a guy right at home. He's at home. The purge starts, and there it is. His friends and family are just kicking back, and there it is, emergency broadcast system. All these purge movies scenarios, they start that way. Emergency broadcast system takes over. What was it in the purge? The NFFT. That was the new government. This is not a test. This is the emergency broadcast system. The commencement of the annual purge is about to begin. All government officials have been granted immunity from the purge and shall not be harmed. Go figure. After the siren, all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 hours. All emergency services will be unavailable until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when the second siren concludes the purge. May God be with you. Purge in session. Countdown begins. There it is. So it's a spoof movie. I can't even take it seriously. I wouldn't even be doing movie reviews or any of that had it not been so uncanny that all this date sequence predictive analytics output and calendrics output merges perfectly with what we're seeing in the field and the predictive programming of these older movies. It's crazy. These are just purge in session. Okay, here we go. I showed you the purge costumes and the Purim costumes, and there's no distinction from them. Showed that in my last video. Here they are outside, getting ready. He's got a nice piece there. I see his little laser on the bottom. He's got manual scope and he's got a regular scope. That's a banana clip. Yeah, he's ready. He's ready for the purge. Right there. This guy answers the door. I don't know what's on TV there. It looks like Joe Biden. Joe Biden's right there. Oh, he's sneaking up behind that little girl. Right there. Joe Biden's on TV. But in the movie, Trump is president. This is who's at the door. It's a setup. Her parents are trying to get this dude on the purge. Yeah, it's a setup. And here's his federal agent homeboy. He went and he's in the middle. The tall guy, he's in the middle. They're coming over there to get him. Yeah, man, it's a spoof movie, but it's crazy. It's just the similarities are so crazy. Real quick, I'm gonna stop sharing that. Get back in here. So Sean Henderson has sent me some really compelling material because I had given you guys dates for things that were very important in the calendrics that were connected to March 14th, Purim, and Sean found something that I hadn't seen before, and he had sent it to me in an email, but I never used it or anything. I thought it was very interesting. He found something that I just missed. Happens all the time. But Sean Henderson sent me another email I saw not even an hour before this video. Couldn't believe it because I love that season. I love that show. Supernatural. Dean and Sam going around slaying all the urban legends. pretty good. It's just entertainment, guys. It's just entertainment. But they do get a lot of the facts right when they're researching all in the cryptozoology and urban myths, and they go into the detail. They go into some pretty good detail. They got a good research team on banshees and liches and on vampirology and all that. They're pretty good at what they do. So in one of the supernatural episodes, Dean and Sam come across a guy who's not a god, but he could be, Metatron. And in the episode, Metatron claims he will ascend to the throne of God. And when he does, everyone's going to call him X. Artificial Intelligence X, anyone? I appreciate Sean Henderson for sending me that. But even more important, in that episode, they're talking about the seals, the breaking of the seals. And in that episode, I'm taking that face value because I haven't gone back and watched it. But Sean Henderson says that Sam and Dean learn about the seals being broken for the apocalypse. And the second seal concerns small arms combat and small weapons like knives. And that's really compelling. It goes back to all my predictions videos, breaking down the Greek on the seals and not the Judeo-Christian version. So, like I said, most of my videos were very long. This one didn't need to be. You guys need to watch the video to see whatever other drops I missed, but I couldn't believe it when I saw it, and ordinarily I wouldn't have made a big deal about it. But we just did 2 big predictions videos back to back, and using 2 entirely different data sets, coming to the same exact conclusion. And now this movie pops up in my field. So yeah, that's my presentation, guys. I'm not keeping this one long. Hour and 30 minutes. I think I broke a record. Hell, I still got coffee. How'd that happen? Man, it's chat. I don't even know if I can get to the bottom of this chat. Yeah, if you guys don't understand how relevant or important these drops are in this movie, all you have to do is go to my previous predictions movie, my previous live video. You go to that, and there's a whole link index. I think it's 11 videos, all predictions videos. Yeah, I don't take them down; they're there. Just click onto them, and then you'll understand exactly what my Archaix veterans are seeing, what they're understanding, because these aren't casual predictions. They are supported by a tremendous amount of data. It's very unusual. So crazy. Hollywood's always telling us the business. Hollywood's always telling us. So tonight I have to finish going through the Ophis website. We have a whole website. You will not be like my drives and my Shopify site, my merchandise. You contact the email stuff. All that's over with. Ophis is completely different. You have to go to a website and you have to go in through the gates of the website, because that's it's not even, it has nothing to do with Archaix whatsoever. Those of you who have been following me for a long time, you know that we have pretty much finished the Ophis software, and we're going to open up beta subscriptions, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it. We're going to have so much fun with it that we're actually planning a trip, and I am forbidden from giving you any details on it because we don't want to swamp that place and then expose our hand. But yeah, we're gonna have a blast, and you guys already know I'm all about showing. I'm not about telling you about these things. I'm about showing them to you, and that's exactly what we're going to do with Ophis. We're going to blow some people's minds, but we cannot allow ourselves to become oversaturated. I've got 5 people, and we all do different things and all that stuff. So I'm not going to be able to take more than maybe 120 200 subscribers, then we have to cap it off because we have to be realistic. We know that subscribers are going to be asking us to run predictions on all kinds of things and all that, and we're just going to have to keep it at a manageable level. So this is for 180 days beta, and then we're going to figure out with that data, we're going to figure out exactly what our next move is. Are we going to turn this into an app? Are we going to turn it into a program? Are we going to sell it outright? I don't know. I just don't know. Don't know. Yeah, man. Oh, you got my predictions on your refrigerator? That's pretty good, Deb. That's pretty good. Yeah, it's so crazy. The whole thing with LA is just really crazy too, because LA qualifies as part of the not a full fulfillment, but a partial fulfillment on the second seal. Second seal is about fires erupting in all different places. Remember, the second seal is about attacks against infrastructure. I think if you melt a whole series of neighborhoods and all the all the buildings and industry around that qualifies as attacks against the infrastructure. Yeah, they arrest some poor bastard and say he's the arsonist. Come on, man. That's just they just scapegoated the poor guy. That's all they did. He didn't start all those fires. No, didn't do that. Yeah, man. Let's see here. Oh, checking my chat. Yeah, I'm not gonna carry this out any further. I just wanted to bring that movie to your attention. It just blew my mind, man. I haven't even watched those other two 2025 movies. It's crazy. I really don't want to either. I've done enough. I've got enough material here. I don't need to see anymore. I got it. But yeah, it's amazing. I probably got some interesting things I'm going to be dropping on Twitter tonight. I quit following Robert Seifer. I've been following Seifer, whatever you say his name. I don't remember. There comes a point in time when I already quit following David Icke. I'm not resonating with him anymore. Robert Seifer's okay. I've never had a problem with him or anything. It's but kind of he's made 4 or 5 comments, maybe 3 to 5 comments on other people's feeds, and I have participated in those chats. And I've never seen him ever respond to any one of my comments. And that's cool. There's a whole bunch of people that don't respond. I don't care about that. But I woke up yesterday with some screenshots from somebody who's been following Robert Seifer for a long time, and Robert had released a post on giants. Well, all the guy did was say, "Hey, man, Jason of Archaix wrote a book on giants. Has a lot of stuff to say about that, and even shows the chronology of when giants could have existed and when they didn't." So, you know what? I just had to unfollow him when Robert Seifer blocked him and remove those comments, and that makes a lot of sense to me now. Why the silence? So I have a lot of people that follow me, but it's kind of passive aggressive. What you follow me for? You don't want to entertain any dialogue. You don't ever want to communicate. You don't ever want to talk. You don't ever want to come to the table. What do you follow me for? So I get a lot of that because there's a whole bunch of YouTube channels that follow me and then come out with their own spins on a lot of my research and all that, and that's good. That's what life is about. You borrow from the best. Every single video that's put out on YouTube should be a soup of all the best ingredients of everything that you're able to cull and put together. But it would be nice from time to time if you cite your sources. At least give somebody a shout out. So, yeah. So there's a whole bunch of them. I get this from. So I'm really kind of circling my wagons because, guys, you already know I started my YouTube channel with a wooden shack, $27 in my pocket, and I did all my first 400 videos on a tablet and on a phone. I said I grew organically. I grew because my community is awesome, and I grew because I've always assumed that people of intelligence will gravitate toward me. I don't have to market. I don't have to advertise, and I never have. Never had to buy subs. Never had to do anything. All I had to do was be me and provide raw data and let people make up their minds what is true and understand that the public has the ability to separate fact from fiction. They don't need me to tell them. So maintaining that attitude has made me very popular, and I'm cool with that. But I don't need to be so popular that people now start suspecting me as being a part of the system. Yeah, I'm not feeling that. Yeah, I've had a lot of people leaning lately in emails and in comments trying to get me to soften my attitude on people like Joe Rogan. You know, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Hell no. I specifically stated on X very recently when somebody was just pushing Joe Rogan. I said, man, you don't understand. Joe Rogan's list recently is a who's who of shills and agents and cowards, people who will not defend the integrity of their research by debate. I'm talking about now, man. This his list of people. Come on, man. No, I am not going to impugn the integrity of my persona and my name and my research by being added to that list. No, I don't care. No, man. There's a lot more to life than just being super popular and having millions of subs. I don't need millions of dullards listening to me. I need a tight, close community that can engage and interact and comprehend, and that's all I need. And I have that now. I'm cool with what I have now. So, yeah, screw Joe Rogan. Yeah, man. Cat's out of the bag, Billy. Yeah. So, yeah, I do have one other announcement. I don't have it. I will have to transfer this link. Okay, you guys know I have a love for dogs. And if you have a love for dogs too, I'd appreciate you would visit. There is a dog rescue for pit bulls only because pit bulls are the most neglected dogs. People throw them away. People don't understand. They don't understand pit bulls. Well, the whole facility burned down. It's right here down the road. And the GoFundMe page talks about it, and I'd appreciate it if anybody can, man. There's one woman that works there that took 20 pit bulls home with her, and other employees have taken whatever they can, and members from the community have taken, but when they need a new facility, and yeah, man, this was going on. I love dogs. I got too many here. I can't take anymore, and I'm gonna put the link in the description box for any of those who want to check out that GoFundMe page. I'd appreciate it. But oh man, that's not good. Andrew White, you said Robert Seffer's house is in the path of the fire. Yeah, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Yeah, wouldn't wish that on anybody. I'm pretty sure he's safe and he can get out. He can get out fast, but yeah, that's not cool. I would not want to see his place get burned down. It's not cool. All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and lighten up the mood, maybe throw me one of these humorous outros. We ain't done that in a while, I don't think. Let me find that real quick. Where's these old video? There they are. Let's see what I got here. Oh, I love you guys.
We block all those who claim we are censoring content. We are not harvesting your data, creating dossiers on the public, and selling your info. Why would we do such a thing?
Seeing the Easter Island pictures of art next to the Göbekli Tepe art is all I had to see. As a chief legislator, that's all a trier of fact needs to see to know Göbekli Tepe is nowhere near as old as they are claiming.
That Jason showed that the zodiac isn't even old, that the Greeks invented it, blew my mind. I'm a Christian now, and our scriptures tell us that stuff's evil.
Jason was publishing about the Mayan long count not ending in 2012, way back before 2012. This dude is shaking the nest. His discoveries on calendars and ancient moon and day count calendars is putting some of these guys to shame.
Remember, we are actors. We are paid to lie. We are rich because we are good at what we do.
Anyone at this point who can't see that the Jews copied Babylonian tablets to write Genesis is blind. Jason's Dark Scriptures playlist shows this perfectly.
That the New Testament is a collection of forged texts put together centuries after the events they depict.
This guy has called the entire ancient aliens community to debate. Like Tyson, they ain't getting in the ring.
Jason says one who is properly informed is not easily deceived. I would like to see Jimmy Corsetti or Matthew LaCroix debate Jason about this Atlantis dating issue. No one's really interested in Bill Carson's opinion anymore.
His findings on the precession hoax, the change of the year from 360 days to 365, man, this changes everything in archaeoastronomy.
You know, I'm not a doctor. I have no medical background. I'm an actor. And even I know Atlantis was the 13th century BC.
Jason has dropped massive data sets on the Old Testament, not even being old, but from the Greek era.
You think we took you for a ride? Wait till the new Christian Reich takes control. It won't be American, and it sure ain't Christian.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, you know, when Jason showed that the Jewish calendar was completely made up, I mean, you know, damned, how are we going to know what year it is now?
Yeah, the Shar being a day and not a year totally murders a lot of books out there. That's the reason these guys don't want to talk. Jason killed their little pet theories.
It all came true. Jason said I was going to be a part of fake news, just like Billy Carson.
I tried to sniff Jason one time, but Big John stopped me. I think Jason would have been into it, though.
Don't forget we are actors. We are paid to lie. We are rich because we are good at what we do.
I wasn't so sure about this Archaix thing, but AIX is certainly worth looking into.
I'm most impressed that Jason is not going to tell you something. He's going to show you.
Archaix shows us if you record enough facts, the answers just stare you in the face.
A man who knows the facts is unafraid to joust with contrary opinions. That's Jason.
I can't have that dude on my show. You know how many guys I've had on here who are running from that dude? Be a mess.
Jason says being wrong gets us closer to being right.
You got to break free or die trying, guys.
Archaix showed me how to see if there was a tater in them onions.
Listen, Archaix isn't one guy against the Matrix. That's dumb. No, it's a family of souls waking up.
If I've learned anything since finding Archaix, if something is true somewhere, it's probably true everywhere.
Jason said if it's true, we can see it from multiple different vantage points.
So I broke pattern and went up there and slapped that guy. Total pattern break.
If you get stumped, you got to break pattern.
Jason says you don't need to know how to read, you need to know how to think. I think that's where I went wrong.
Jason figured it out. People are smart and they can decide for themselves if something is true or not.
No, I don't have anything to hide. I just don't want Jason anywhere near my accounting files.
There's a bunch of us who don't listen to Archaix. We signed a different deal. I think it's AIX or something.
Come on, Billy. Everyone knows Atlantis wasn't 12,000 years ago. It was in the 1800s or something.
Atlantis 10,000 years ago? Even I'm not that dumb.
Come on, G, you can't contain this. You're going to sink like Atlantis.
Billy Carson is fake news, the fakest news. Jason has proven that.
After careful analysis of Jason's data sets, I agree with you, Billy. Don't debate him.
The cat's out of the bag, Billy. Jason's data set proves you're wrong about Atlantis.
Billy, even I can see that the Atlantis narrative isn't dated correctly. Hear Jason out, man.
Hey, bro, you running from this debate isn't a good look for your research. Just debate him already.
Billy, don't be scared to debate, man. I'll have you guys on the podcast.